All right, it is April 22nd, no, May 22nd, 2024, and this is the review of Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. And I read this book as in life when you're listening to politics or just going through life, paying attention to things. People always compare the politics of the day to 1984 or Brave New World. More, what is it? More recently, Brave New World has been coming up more often for a few reasons, which I'll talk about. Um, but I've read 1984 multiple times and I know it pretty well. And I wanted to get that other piece of the puzzle together. I knew just very little about it before, so I came in almost blind. I knew that people's emotions were being tampered with. People were like happy all the time because of pills. Soma, you hear Soma a lot, right? But anyways, read this and I thought I thought that the 1984 was a better book for sure and a scarier book and also more prescient in a lot of ways. I see maybe the 1984 has a lot more time to stew, and I've lived more life seeing through the lens of 1984 than I have Brave New World. And I can definitely see how modern society is almost mirroring the modern futuristic society of a Brave New World, and people's main goal is comfort, and not you're not even pain, discomfort in any way, pushing down feelings. Well, not even pushing down, covering it with a medical haze of soma and endless entertainment, and everything is kind of surface level, very surface level. Nothing too deep, and you don't have the experiences under your belt to speak how you feel. It's very strange. And just how modern society is, in which it's, religion is not there, really, it's not the focus. It's more about what feels good. If it feels good, it's most likely good. Even hedonism, which that's what this book is, really. It's hedonistic, not the book itself, but that society. It's very hedonistic. There's orgies all the time, right? And I can definitely see, and anyone with eyes can see the hedonistic tendencies of today's society. Religious or not, you can see the hedonism, and there is no higher power. There is no deeper meaning, really, than what makes you feel good at that time. Anyways, that's kind of where we're going. Children being sexualized, that kind of stuff, which is scary, incredibly scary, and super, super gross. And this book just made me feel like down the entire time. Obviously, not to the level of 1984. I didn't feel that depressed. And similar to 1984, where you had, what was his name, Mr. Something, the party man who was Winston's like confidant, basically, who thought was his confidant, but ended up being like a party man who explained why the society was necessary, and kind of explained everything at the end to really hammer home all the points. The same thing happened this time, but with someone who was in a high position of power. Mondo, I think, was one of the names, and it all made sense. It was all devastating, but it wasn't as devastating. I wasn't hit as much by it. It didn't have that punch that 1984 has. But again, I can see why Brave New World is brought up all the time. I just think 1984 again hits much harder and is much more impactful for me. The story is better written to my mind, as a depressing future kind of foretelling. I feel 1984 is it'll stick a lot more than Brave New World. I don't find myself wanting to reread Brave New World at all. I didn't really root for anyone or care about much of anyone. I did like how Shakespeare, how that the main turned out to be the main character towards the end, the latter half of the book. The Savage, he was given a book of Shakespeare, learned how to read from his mom, and was able to articulate problems with society, A, because he was born outside of that society, and B, because he was given and he saw examples through Shakespeare of what things kind of should be. Not this savage life, but this other way, and not this futuristic, hedonistic way. And it was an interesting way of showing that, and how, nothing, the feelies, right, couldn't even come close to something like Shakespeare, and couldn't have the meaning of a Shakespeare. So I really like that. But other than that, I don't think I'll ever go back to it. And I give it probably in total, I would give it, before I just ramble on forever about the little things here and there. I already talked about how I would say a lot of it is very telling on where society is, I see, going. Definitely a mix of Brave New World and 1984. I can see why it's brought up all the time. However, I would give it, like the writing, I wasn't drawn in by too much. I was pushing through the book because I knew how impactful it was, and I could see, and I wanted to see how it ended, I guess. But if it was a different story, then I wouldn't have cared for the writing at all. I don't find myself wanting to read it again, and that's kind of it. I would give it, for enjoyment, I would give it a 6.7, 6.8, but for impact, probably a 9. So let's meet in the middle. Let's get high 7s. Why not? High 7s, somewhere in there, high 7s, and you'll be good. But just for reading experience, high 6s. High 6s, because impact doesn't blow me away for much anything. But that's it. High 6s, really. But on to the next one.